Okay. Okay, thank you. So the topic, like I said, is future ready lawyer preparing for in-house roles and changing legal markets. So first off, want to know what a changing legal market is, and then why we're doing this today. So firstly, the legal profession has actually evolved, and then traditional practice is very much important. Like Oliver said, we're not saying that going to the law fair, going to courts no longer have importance in this society as it is now, but we're trying to look at the bigger picture. We're trying to see how we can create impact, how we can influence, and how we can solve problems across multiple industries. So the more you're able to understand the business side, the more doors you're able to open. So legal work is increasingly cross industry. What this means is that it's applied in different industries. So you're seeing a lawyer working in fintech, a lawyer working in healthcare, consulting, tech, etc. So this is like an example of that. And then it's also tech driven now with the advancements of AI and other digital tools. We are seeing lawyers actively involved in things such as data protection, compliance, and other things. And then business focused. This means that lawyers are no longer expected to just know the law, but you're also expected to be able to make decisions to balance risk and to help drive growth and also compliance. So it's no longer enough for a lawyer to just tell the business that, okay, this is what to do, this is what not to do. They already know that, but that's not why they are paying you. They want to know how they can still do what they want to do and still thrive without getting into legal issues. So now lawyers must also be able to balance commercial, legal, and strategic thinking. These are the things that are required of lawyers in this period, in this time, and then in this generation. So success now isn't just about being technically correct. Like I said, it's being able to apply your legal knowledge to help businesses grow and to be able to make smart decisions and seize opportunities safely. That's where law and strategy meets. So who is a future ready lawyer? Looking at it, is this just a concept or can we bring that concept to reality? So a future ready lawyer is a lawyer that doesn't wait for opportunities to arrive. You prepare yourself for the roles that you want ahead of time. So I'm sure for us on the call here, there are a lot of people that have dream places they want to work, dream industries that they want to work tomorrow or in the nearest future. So when it says you are a future ready lawyer, it means that not have yet, or yet as we are prepare for the dream role ahead of time. Firstly, you can learn how the business works, not just how the law works. So if you're interested in a particular industry, you need to know how does this industry make its money? What do they do that makes them their money? So that you're not just knowing the legal aspect, you're also knowing the business aspect, how they make their money, which is the most important thing. Then also, you look at developing the ability to explain law in simple and practical terms. So I think this is self-explanatory because most of these people that are non-lawyers, to be honest, they don't want to hear all the legal jargon. I only got to realize this when I went in-house because you are telling the business that section A, section this, and they're looking at you like, what are you saying? Can we do this or we cannot? And so it just means that even during interviews, during conversations, if you find yourself with people in these industries, you have to be able to speak clearly and avoid legalese. And that can that can happen when you are able to understand this concept so much that you're able to break it down. For example, you have a field that you're interested in, you need to understand so much in that field that you're able to break legal terms in very simple language. Then also training yourself to think beyond what is legal. You begin to ask questions like, what is the goal? What could go wrong? What are the safer options? For example, if you're interested in the fintech industry, even before opportunities in that area come, you're already trying to see yourself in the bigger picture and not just, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer in fintech, I'm going to be a lawyer in health tech. You're asking yourself, what are the risks in that industry and why do they need lawyers? What am I coming in to do? These are questions that you'd ask yourself because it changes your whole mindset. Then next, your building readiness before opportunity shows up. You don't wait until you get the job to start thinking like a business focused lawyer. I think this, I've explained it even in the other points I raised. Then also actively positioning yourself for change. How can you do this? Through learning. You may be going to court now, back to back. But when you come back home in your spare time, what do you use it to do? Are you using it to research the industry that you want to work in? Can I have a conversation with you tomorrow and know that, oh, this person is passionate about this industry, this person is interested in this? Are you also networking? Are you writing? Are you asking questions? Are you gaining exposure to different legal paths? How visible are you to the employers in that field you are looking to go into? So these are thought-provoking questions that should enable us to, okay, maybe want to reevaluate our decisions and where we are presently so that we are able to, put ourselves in positions that when the opportunity comes, we're already the right fit. Because a lot of people have had opportunities. Oh, you will say you want to be a tax lawyer, you want to be this, you want to be that. Trust me, the opportunity always comes. But the question is, would you be ready when the opportunity has come? So the next slide, particularly because I'm an in-house lawyer, I would be kind of being specific about my role and what is expected of an in-house lawyer, what we usually do. So I don't know if some of you heard this myth, but when I was in litigation, I heard a lot that, oh, in-house lawyers, they are not doing anything. When you go in-house, you are just resting. Like life is so easy. That was what I heard. And that was the perception I used to get to go in-house. I was thinking that, oh, it would be so chilled and all. But I can tell you for free that that's not the case. That's not the case. It's complete lies. I don't know who said that. Or let me say, to the best of my knowledge, it depends on the industry you're in. So because I'm in fintech, it's really fast paced. So I cannot say that there's any moment where I'm like, oh, I thank God I'm in house because I don't have work to do. So let's delve into the day-to-day responsibilities of an in-house lawyer. Firstly, you draft, you review, and you negotiate contracts. There are always agreements. The company wants to go into a partnership with this person or this or that. You're always there to review, to draft. You advise on regulatory compliance and risk management. If there are filings to be done with the CAC, with the CBN, sometimes that's where the legal and compliance team comes in, but some companies are learning to separate these roles so that legal is different from compliance. Then we also support business teams, sales, operations, product, tech, admin, etc. on legal implications of decisions. They always run to you, oh, legal, can we do this? Can we do that? We have this program coming up. We want this product that we are making. Is this right? Is this? So you have to be ready to get on quick calls. They usually call it, oh, can you jump on a quick call? And then that quick call takes your whole day and you're unable to do other things. So you have to be ready for things like that. Then you also handle disputes, you manage external counsel and regulatory matters. You know that as an in-house counsel, you cannot represent your company in court. So you'd have to be the bridge between the company and the external counsel so that they're able to represent you. And then you protect your company assets, IP, and data. You're going to ensure that your trademarks are not infringed or people are not taking advantage of that. Then you contribute to the business strategy by identifying opportunities and mitigating risks. So the business teams would always come to you. I call them business teams. They are like, for example, when I mentioned sales, operations, products, tech, these are business teams. They always come to you with issues, with problems. Sometimes they get into problems before remembering that, oh, there's a legal team. And then it's when there's now an issue, they'll now come to you and you're like, why didn't you involve me in this from the get-go? that doesn't matter. Now you have to look for a solution with them. So that's what it's like day to day being an in-house lawyer. And of course, you'd have several meetings, you are joining company secretarial functions too. I forgot to mention that. Then skills that matter tied to in-house reality. So what are the key skills that you need to have to become an in-house lawyer or to thrive in your role as an in-house lawyer? Firstly, I said business awareness. This is very important because you can only advise from a place of knowledge, from a place of awareness where you know what the business is doing, because that way you'll be able to understand the risks that are involved and how you can mitigate or reduce such risks. Then, secondly, risk and judgments. You're able to identify high and manageable risks and offer options. So there would always be risks. There's always going to be something that these business teams want to do that if you check, an issue can come out of it, a legal issue can come out of it. What they've taught us in law school, what we know about laws, oh, this thing has an issue. But then your job is to make sure that you are able to weigh these risks. Because if you keep telling them, no, we can't do this, no, we can't do that, no, we can't do that, at some point they'll be like, okay, so what are you now here for? Because we can't be paying you and then we're not able to take these risks. These are the risks that bring in money at the end of the day. So if you're saying no, 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 then trust me, you're as good as not having a job soon. So your how you can scale as a legal counsel is as an in-house counsel is to be able to identify risks, know which one you say, okay, we can use this. Okay, no, this is too high risk for us. Or if we're doing this, these are the safe options we can use. Thirdly, communication. Explain legal issues clearly to non-lawyers. This cannot be overemphasized. When I was in law, when I worked in a law firm, you were praised for sending long emails that contained laws, that contained sections and all. But when I came in-house, wrap it up. That's just how I can summarize it. Wrap it up. You are not expected to be sending them very long emails. Oh, they would ask you for an advice and they just need you because they don't even have time to be reading your long emails. They just want to know, can we or can we not do it? And so you have to be able to give legal advice clearly, because even if anything happens tomorrow, they can come and say, your advice was not clear, it was too long. So that's just it for communication. Then collaboration. You have to work well with diverse teams. You have to be solution focused. So legal, I always say this, that we are not expected to work in isolation. You're not expected to work in silos. If you're here and you're already working in-house, I'm sure you would know this. You can't thrive as a legal counsel or as an in-house counsel if all you do is in isolation. You don't make decisions based off the findings from other teams, internal teams. You have to communicate with these teams regularly to ensure that whatever you are saying is like based on the decisions they have made, based on their operations and all, so that your legal advice is going to be able to be heard, like you can use it tomorrow. Because it's one thing to have legal advice on paper that makes sense, but it's another thing to have something that you can actually practicalize, that can be brought into reality. So the reflections in order to position yourself for the future. Firstly, what's one small step you can take this month? I don't know how many days we have left in the month, but what's one small step you can take that your future self will thank you for, based on all that we've said on how to prepare yourself for the opportunities that you want? What one small step, if you're looking to get into in-house roles within the fintech industry, within any other industry, what's one small step you can take? Secondly, what's one intentional step you can take this month so you're not starting from scratch when the opportunity comes? So, like I said, the opportunity would always come, but then the question is, would you be ready when it comes? If a hiring manager was to look at, would they for the field you've always been telling everyone that this is where you want to work. Oh, I want to work in this company, I want to do this. If they were to look at your CV today, would they say, okay, this person, we can take him, we can take her? Secondly, thirdly, what skills should you be developing today to stay relevant tomorrow? Not just necessarily about the industry you want to go to, just to stay relevant generally within legal or any other team. What's one concrete action you can take to move closer to the role you want? Kind of role you've been thinking of and you've been dreaming of? And what part of your D is what part of your career are you waiting for permission to start building? And who are you waiting to give you that permission? Are you waiting for someone to tell you, okay, you say you are interested in tax, or yeah, it's time? Or would you take your own future in your own hands and start building and start talking about what you do? If no one was coming to teach you this skill, how would you learn it on your own? If some of the skills we've talked about, if no one was coming to teach you, how would you learn it on your own? F, what industry do you want to work in and how visible are you to it right now? That's these questions are just to provoke thoughts and like action, a call to action so that we can ask ourselves if what we are doing now is what we think can help us to get where we want to be, or if there are still things that are highly required of us to get to where we want. So the next slide. Closing, a question to leave with. If the opportunity you want showed up in 6 months, would your current skill, visibility, and mindset support it? If not, what would you start changing today? So let me just, I can't end this session without giving a brief story on how I transitioned. So when I started working, when I was done with law school, actually started working in a law firm, but not as a lawyer. I was working in a law firm as an executive assistant. And then in the course of doing my executive assistant role, I was like, this is not what I want for myself. Or I didn't come to Lagos to come and like be an executive assistant after going to law school and all. So I was able to start looking for litigation briefs and all, and then I was going to court and all, and then I was able to transition into going to court, and then when I said going to court, I knew that this is not what I want for myself. Like I don't like litigation at all. It's not what I want to do long term. And then kudos to those who love litigation. Like I would always have so much respect for those who are into litigation. But for me, and then a few others like me, it wasn't just what I wanted. So while I was still going to court, I was actively going to court like almost every day of the week. I would still come back home and then I would write on my LinkedIn. I would write things that I wasn't even doing at the time. I would go for conferences. I'll try to network with people. So some of the people now that I look up to, I I've known some of them from conferences I attended when I wasn't even doing anything related to commercial or corporate law practice. I attended conferences, I networked with them, took numbers and all. And then there are people that I can reach out today to ask for legal advice, to ask, okay, I'm trying to do this. What do you think? So I attended these events, attended when fintech, especially I always looked out for fintech events, particularly when InterSwitch was doing career conference. I was there, I applied, I kept doing things like that until eventually I was able to land an interview with Money Point where I work now, and then I got the job. I didn't have prior experience in fintech or in any industry of that nature. I was just doing litigation, but I was already trying to build myself. My LinkedIn had some articles on data protection, on startup, on like some things, and then when the opportunity came, I was a good fit. I was the right fit for the role. So this is to just help us to know that it's possible. The industry you think you want, it also wants you. Like what you want wants you too, but it doesn't want this version of you. It wants the version of you that is ready and that is prepared. And then I hope with this, we're able to understand and we're able to go back to the drawing board and then ask ourselves, okay, what can I do? How can I become visible to the people that I want to work with? What can I do enough? Am I speaking on this enough and all? The journey continues. What we're doing here isn't just about giving you instant answers. We're building perspective over time. So each session will expose us to new paths, new thinking, and new ways to approach our career. So this session was particularly kind of tailored to in-house roles, especially within the fintech industry, because that is the experience I have. But subsequent sessions would have different people in different industries, lawyers doing entirely different things that you that you would not even think they would be doing, product managers that are lawyers, founders, just based on your request, because the group is going to be active. We're going to be engaging you, or we're going to be providing job opportunities. Wherever we see job opportunities, we'll share on the group so that people can apply. We're also going to be inviting recruiters to tell us what we are doing wrong. Because it's one thing for you to be applying, another thing for you to not even know that your CV is what is hindering you from getting the job you want, or that when you have a good CV, you go to the interview and you just flop it. So we're going to be having recruiters to give us the perspective of what they are looking for, especially when they are interviewing for roles that are outside the traditional legal law firm. So I think that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for paying attention. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm open to take questions. So Oliver, I'm handing over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Lois. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much for the lecture. Please, can we give Lois a round of applause, please, with your emoji, your sticker, everything? If you just give it to her. Okay, so thank you, Lois. I think this session itself is an entire eye-opener. It's something quite worthy, knowing the fact that we have this conventional straight-jacketed view as to what to do with law and your law degree. So thank you for this. And like she rightly said, we are organizing this session for the fact that the law is beyond black and white. The law is beyond corporate this thing. It's evolved different dimension, different aspect, and different trajectory. So I will be asking Lois 3 questions, and then I'm expecting that everybody should maybe send a question on the WhatsApp, on the chat box. So if you want to send a question, just raise up your hand through this in the sticker here. Just indicate with the sticker here so you cannot ask questions. Then we'll get to engage. We have the interactive session. I'll call it a night. So first of all, Lois, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, like I said, I have just 3 questions for you, and I'm hoping that they'll get other questions that would get us talking and get us engaged. So the first one is with regards to litigation. I think most time when you talk to people about going in-house and stuff like that, you ask older lawyers and senior lawyers. I mostly interact with them a lot, and they will mostly tell you that, oh, before you go in-house, you should first of all get the litigation experience. That even though you don't love litigation, please just go to litigation, learn how the courts work, learn how this one, and stuff like that. Again, so my question is this: do you think how necessary is it that you should go into litigation first before you delve into in-house practice, and then knowing the fact that you started from Stern and Bland as a litigation lawyer, and then subsequently you get into in-house role, what skills were you able to harness, get from litigation, and then subsequently apply to in-house role? And then I said that to say this, that most times they actually advise that you should start very early. If you're going in-house, you should start building experience from in-house. So how do we balance the both of them? Do we do litigation first before going in-house, or do we do in-house straight-jacketed like that, or what do we do?
Okay, thank you for the question. So firstly, I think most times we are not just opportune to choose. If I had my way, I probably wouldn't have gone and done litigation before going in-house. But like I said, the opportunities didn't come immediately. So I had to do litigation first before moving in-house, right? So for me, that was like I gained experience from litigation, but I think that these things are not cast in stone. So the fact that you may not have a litigation experience doesn't mean you won't make a great in-house lawyer. There's nothing that cannot be learned. But then I learned a lot from doing litigation, because when I went in house, I was on the other side of the table. So when I was in litigation, when I was going to court, we were the ones that banks were briefing to say, okay, go and do this matter for us. We have this issue, we have that. Then when I went in house, it was the other way around. I was the one engaging external counsel. So of course, the skills I learned from litigation, for example, I would say that I learned being able to dispute management generally, because now when I was briefing the external counsel, I wasn't just fluffing. I knew what I was telling them because I had been there. I had been on on the other side. So I felt like that gave me an advantage, but then it's not necessarily, like I said, it's not cast in stone. So if you're not able to get litigation experience, if you can get in-house experience from day one, why not? It's fine. Please, by all means, if you don't want to do litigation and you have the opportunity to not do it, then of course you should do the one that's available. But if you can, it's advisable. But like I said, it's not mandatory. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Oliver.
Yeah, you have. Thank you so much. I think for that, it's quite expository itself. And the second question, like I rightly sent on the chat box, that if you have questions, please send on the chat box, or possibly you indicate your emoji, and there you get to chat with Lois, and we get to interact more, because we're hoping that we'll get to get feedback, talk to people about what they intend to do with their law degree, and subsequently we'll know how to fine-tune the entire series. Now, my second question, Lois, is regards to the whole thing. On the first standpoint, they'll tell you that, okay, you're getting into legal practice, you should go get the experience and stuff like that, you understand? But then I would also say that your experience does not really pay your bills you get if you don't make money with it. And that's actually pointing me to the question that I'm asking, that, okay, fine. I know you cannot give us a specific salary range or something like that, but I'm just asking for a range. Like, okay, what does an entry-level in-house counsel earn, and then how does an entry-level person get into this thing? And I think just the range, generally speaking, if you're getting into that, because of course there's financial implications to all of these things.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I understand. So for generally for a normal, like the average range, I think an in-house counsel, you're starting with 400, between 400 to 500. But then I've seen job postings where they are looking for in-house counsel, and they are saying 150, 150K, and I'm like, okay, it's like I don't get it. But then generally you can see 400 to 500 for starters, and then entry level, what skills you need to have. I think the skills you need to have generally when you are an entry level associate, it applies to every other field also. It's to be ready to learn. You have to look like, okay, you're not going to come here to be like, you need to look like you're a sponge that you can soak it all in, because in your first few years you're going to be making mistakes, you're going to be learning a lot. So there'll be people that would be teaching you. They need to know that this person is somebody that can take corrections, that can take feedback, because whether we like it or not, you don't have so much experience that they are working with. So the right attitude, I think everything can be something to having the right attitude, being respectful, being able to take in feedback and not take it personally, or feel like, oh, they're trying to attack you, or it's a toxic work environment just because they corrected you or said your draft was not good enough or something like that. And then also another skill would be commercial awareness. Like I was saying during my own presentation, you need to be commercially aware. If I was a hirer, and then I was speaking to someone that has been claiming that, oh, I want to go into fintech, I want to go into fintech, there are some basic questions that you should know. There's some basic things that I believe that you should know. So you need to be commercially aware. That only shows that, oh, you are really hungry for this thing, and it's not just because anybody can walk up to you and say they have interest in this, they have interest in that. But then what have you been, doing with yourself? How have you been preparing yourself for the opportunity? So commercially aware, ready to learn, the right attitude. I think these are the skills. Every other thing can be worked on. Every other thing can be. Then also communication skills. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to and speak well, because I've had conversation with people that you're like, okay, how did you finish law school? Because you start one sentence now and then you've jumped into another. So you need to be able to communicate. And I believe that communication is as I am now. I still sometimes when I'm working, I'm playing videos on YouTube on how to be a better speaker, on how to communicate rather clearly than just speaking. Because anybody can make sounds, anybody can speak, but can you communicate to the point that people actually listen and they are able to understand you? So communication is also one skill that I would strongly advise. And then writing skills, you can always improve your writing skills. Even when you think you are the best writer, there's always improvement. And now with AI tools and all, I don't think people should be struggling with writing. But you see that most times people just carry maybe whatever. You don't even want to do the work yourself. You just go and tell AI, give AI prompts that it should do this for you. I don't think that's how it works. AI is working for you, not that it is doing the job for you. It's not getting the job done for you. So being able to use AI in the right way to improve your writing skills, I think that's also a skill that most of the skills I've mentioned are soft skills. They're not necessarily going to be taught in law school or in university, but then when you come out, these are survival skills that you need in order to survive in the market as it is today. So that's it for me. Hi, Oliver, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. The skills and every other thing that are quite essential getting into in-house role and stuff like that to get. Now, I'm asking a very crucial question, which I have engaged with over the past few years. It's with regards to NYSC role. You get most times. I was discussing with a friend this week, and he was telling me he came to visit me. He was telling me about going to KPMG and a couple of other big four consulting firms like that, and he was saying that they don't accept you in your NYSC level and the whole thing that happens like that. How feasible do you think it's possible it is to get into in-house roles with an NYSC, this in NYSC level entry or something like that? Do you think it's feasible?
Okay, so most in-house roles that I know, even my company, we don't accept NYSC trainees. We don't accept trainees. Most people that got in and did NYSC there, they probably got in on another name. Like someone I know in my team, she joined as an intern, not NYSC associate. So it depends on how, and sometimes you see these roles posted, they're looking for legal intern, compliance intern, and also there are hardly organizations that, but I think InterSwitch does. I think InterSwitch takes NYSC associates. I don't know if they take them in the name NYSC, but I know that they do. So most of these companies do not take in NYSC. I don't know their reasoning for that, but if you're not able to, that's why it doesn't look always so possible for you to just start your career from in-house from day one, because most of them would rather, even what they are calling entry level, is someone that probably has 1 to 2 or 3 years experience working in a law firm. That's what some of them call entry level. So most of them do not take NYSC associates. So you just have to probably do something else, maybe litigation or whatever it is, then build yourself and train for the role that you want, the industry that you want, so that when you're done with NYSC, you can apply. Because some of them would even require your NYSC certificate as part of your documentation. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that clarity you shared on that. And I think Ojo of Law says that he is asking if this is a one-time event or a continuous event, and if there's a community, how you will to join. There's a community actually. We created a community and we hope to be consistent there. And this is not a one-time event. We hope to have this session all through this year, monthly, try as much as possible, not just Lois and I. We are getting people from other roles, different lawyers who have done outstandingly well, not in litigation, not in corporate practice. I mean, the big four, the big tier one firms. We are talking about lawyers who have done outstandingly well, maybe in government practice or individually speaking, and the whole thing. You get, so that is what we intend to do. So if you want to join the community, you could maybe check Lois page on LinkedIn, or possibly you could check you could also chat us up on WhatsApp again. We join you in the community. It's quite easy to join. It's nothing so big. And hopefully in the community, we also share opportunities and other things that comes with it. And then if you have questions, please just send your question on the chat box, or possibly signify with an emoji. Let's get to talk. And then the last question for you, Lois, is this. I said I have three questions, and I've asked you three, but I just have to craft out this one. Now, for people like me who likes to juggle things together, can you be able to do in-house role and then be able to do other legal practice? Because I've seen a couple of lawyers out there who maybe they are employed in the law in an institution, maybe a company or a business enterprise or something like that, and they get to do those work and still, regardless of that, do a couple of other side gigs by this and by the side. Do you think it's quite feasible?
Yes, it's very much possible to be an in-house lawyer and doing other things, but it also depends on your industry. There are some industries that are really fast-paced. If you're in fintech, you would know that it's hard. Like, so even me being here today and wanting to be part of this, it means there are sacrifices that I've had to pay, that and I am going to be paying forward just to make sure that this continues, because working in fintech is quite it's quite it's so fast paced that you have to always be on your, I don't know, be on your toes, because there's always just something you get. But I think for other industries, I can't say about other industries, but I think there's going to be an opportunity for you to work in-house and also do your thing, as long as what you are doing does not conflict with what you do in-house. So for example, maybe an in-house lawyer with a fintech, my side hustle, my side gig cannot be going to represent other fintechs and then helping them, because it's like going to be a conflict of interest. Are you representing Money Point, or you want to be representing Money Point and 10 other fintechs? So that is going to be something that I cannot afford to do. But if for example, say fintech lawyer, and then you're doing something entirely different, your side gigs, you are writing, you are publishing, you are writing books, you are selling something, then that's fine, as long as you're able to manage your time properly and then one does not suffer as a result of the other. I think that is what matters at the end of the day. Because even as an employer, I don't think I would mind my staff or my employee doing something else. I would even be proud. But the most important thing is that my work should not suffer because you are doing five things, other things. So if you're able to manage your time, that's fine. But my work should not suffer. I think that's where people are able to draw the line that, okay, I can do this, I can do that, but just make sure that you're not half-assing everything. You're doing this and then you do it anyhow because you have another thing. So if you're going to do five things, if you have to do at least four of them well, or else you just focus on one at a time. So that would be my advice. Oliver, can you hear me? Hi, Oliver, are you there? Okay, I think Oliver is having network issues. So before he comes back, I'll just read some of the questions that we have here in the chat. Okay, this, I think Oliver has addressed Ojo of Law. So Ojo, you can chat me up on WhatsApp or LinkedIn for the link, or I would drop it here in the chat box so you can join the community. Then there's also Deborah Ali, and she's asking, what are the practical steps a person can take to transition into in-house roles? into in-house roles in specific sectors as a student? You mentioned writing articles related to that area, but are there any other tips or practical steps a person can take? Okay, so practical steps you can take to join and to transition into in-house roles in specific sectors as a student. So I think over in the course of my session, I mentioned not just writing, I mentioned things like networking. You need to network with the people in the industry that you want to go to. I mean, I asked a question, I said, how visible are you to the people in the industry you want to work in? But this doesn't just mean writing. So something I can say that you might find helpful is I use LinkedIn a lot. So I tend to want to connect with people in the industry that I am interested in. You're not connecting with them because you want to enter their DMs to start saying, employ me, involve me. No, that's not what you're doing. You're just connecting with them because you want to, of course, be visible to them so that when you're posting stuff, when you're doing stuff, they're able to just see that, okay, who is this person? Who is this person? I know a lot of people that have gotten jobs without even applying. Recruiters reached out to them in their DMs and said, oh, there's an opening. Sometimes these openings are very quiet, they are not loud. They don't want the one that when they post, everybody is scrambling for it and everybody's applying. So they can just reach out to you, especially if you are you're always talking about a particular thing. Not that there are people who today they will post about fintech, tomorrow they will post about telecommunication, next tomorrow they will post litigation, to another day they'll post, like you are just everywhere at the same time. So I'm not sure what you actually are interested in. But if you're consistent about what you want to like do, if you have a path that you want to follow, I want to be a fintech lawyer, I want to be a tax lawyer, and you're consistent that I can just scroll through your social media, I can scroll through your profile and I see that this is what you write about, this is what you talk about, these are the conferences you attend, then it will be easy for me to want to reach out to you. Or when you apply, your CV would stand out because you are a right fit, and because maybe when they use the ATS or whatever it is they use, you can see keywords that would reflect from your CV that are also in the job description. So writing is just part of it, and being visible to them by maybe sending connection requests, attending conferences, attending sessions, events that these people are there, introducing yourself. That's where communication skill also comes in, because it's not by, sometimes you get to meet some of these people that you love and adore, but you can't say anything reasonable to them. Just and that, or you just be so stuck that you can't even make reasonable conversations with them. So these are some of the ways that you can actually become you're able to, these are practical steps that you can take in order to get the in-house roles you're looking for. I hope I've been able to address this question. If not, please you can ask again. Then Oliver, I think you're back.
Sorry, my network has been a bit bad.
Oh, that's fine. So I had just answered the first
Okay,
question from Deborah Ali, but she has another question.
okay, I can't see the question.
Okay, let me just read it out. She says, also for in-house roles, are there opportunities for hybrid or fully remote roles? Of course, there are opportunities for hybrid and fully remote roles. My job is entirely remote, and it depends on the industry. There are some industries that you might need to interface with clients or your team, your department, maybe once a week or twice. But of course, you can have fully or hybrid remote roles, just depends on the organization itself and their policies. So it's important that when you're applying, you check out for these things, because they always tell you there whether it's a fully on-site role, it's hybrid, or it's fully remote. You see it there. So it's for you to decide whether or not you want to proceed with the application or not. So thank you. Oliver, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lois. You've done the heavy lifting for today. You've done almost everything, the introductory session and every other single thing. And I guess we're practically done. with all the other things, except you have further question. If anybody has further question, please just indicate. I don't think so. So so just in case, because if you have any further question, maybe not now or subsequently the question come up, you could send a message on the community and then we get to answer them as they come in. Like I rightly stated, and Lois also stated here, it's just not the both of us doing the whole thing, not myself and with Lois talking every month like that. We hope and we intend to invite other lawyers from other field, other industry, people who has done outstandingly well, not just in litigation or in Tier 1. We are looking at people who has done well in other field and areas and what they've been able to do with their law degree. And we hope that this session run through this year and we get it quite interesting. So your job is simple. Is to invite more people to the community, more law students, aspiring lawyers, lawyers in practice, and those who intend to change roles. It's quite simple. Just add them up to the group or maybe send a message and they'll get to add them to the group. And then we have this conversation going on. And hopefully, and by God's grace, we get to those other bigger things this year as time permits and as God permits also. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your opportunity. Once again, thank you so much, Lois, for leading this. Okay, you're saying that I should drop the group link here. Sorry, I don't think I'll be able to drop the group link here. But for other persons, thank you so much. If you want